If you've ever wondered about investment properties and how to get started in the investment world for single family residents and maybe interested in some turnkey opportunities as an investor, you're going to enjoy this podcast. Hey, I'm Nate Carver, and welcome to Between Two Doors. Hey, Matt. Hey, Terry. How are y'all doing today?
Doing great, Nate. Thanks for having us, man.
Fantastic.
It's good to talk to y'all. We are talking to Matt and Terry with Mid-South Home Buyers, their website, midsouthhomebuyers.com. And Terry, I wanted to ask you right off, tell me how you got into this space with investment properties way back in 2002. I'd love to try to build a background story for you.
Sure. It's a really happy accident. My wife and I had a newborn, and we wanted to keep our overhead low, and so decided to buy a fixer-upper and move our family into it to keep a low house note, and fell into love with making ugly houses pretty. And yeah, that's kind of how the business started. I told my wife I wanted to make a run at the business and quit the best job of my life, and rolled the dice, and fortunately it worked out. So yeah, man, it's been a great run, and we really feel like we're just getting started.
Nice. So 2002, what did the real estate landscape look like to you then versus today?
Well, what it looked like was I would wake up every day and drive to real estate agents' offices and pick up a paper list of foreclosures. Then I would open up a paper map book, and I would drive around and look at these houses. And then I would drive back to the real estate agents' offices and make an offer on paper and write a check. And so it was like being a caveman.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and nowadays it's click, click, click on your, on your computer screen or even your phone, and all that information's right there. Wow. Yeah, I used to spend a lot of time at the courthouse going through documents manually.
Yep.
Back in I guess 2000, yeah, 2002. That was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to make sure I wasn't bidding on a property or buying a second lien, right?
Yep.
So in offering a turnkey investment opportunity, what brought that on for you? Obviously, the manual labor intensive, time intensive part there in 2002. I'd like to kind of jump into that a little bit.
Sure. So in 2003, I ran into a grade school buddy of mine that I hadn't seen in 10 years, and he had about 10 rental properties under his belt. I only had a couple, and I was working on a couple more that I was going to keep, and he told me he wanted to buy them. And I was confused. I said, "Why would you buy these from me when you could go out and buy them yourself, fix them up, and rent them, and then you'd save all the money, that you're going to pay me?" And he said, "Because I don't have enough time, and my wife wants me to spend more time with the family." And so I sold him these two houses, and I didn't make much. Profit margins were slim, but it was a really breakthrough light bulb moment, because I decided then I was going to start a business of passing, bargains on to bargain hunters. Fast forward to today, last year we bought, rehabbed, and sold 680 houses in Memphis and in Little Rock. And so we've been doing this coming up on 25 years now.
Yeah. Wow. Matt, how long have you been working with Terry now?
Yes, I started with Terry back in 2012. I started just
Wow.
it's been a fun ride.
I can
Terry's built an
imagine.
amazing business here. And yeah, I was one of the cavemen even back there in 2012. We were doing a lot of things on paper, file folders, file cabinets, all of that. But it's been fun to grow with the business and watch how it's changed since then. I think we were managing somewhere around 215 homes back then, and we're blessed to be at almost 5,800 homes today. So it's been a fun ride.
Wow. So I'm curious. So I've done, I've flipped a house like one at a time, and I've done a lot of labor, a lot of labor on them. Um, when I'm curious as to when you figured out that you had something that you could duplicate and was sustainable, that you could actually multiply to the numbers that y'all are doing now.
It just was a little bit by little bit. So as soon as my buddy Steve bought a couple of houses from me, and I knew that he wanted more, and he had friends that wanted more houses, I knew that I couldn't swing the hammers anymore because I was the hammer swinger. Now I wasn't doing electrical, HVAC, and roofing, but I was doing all the cosmetic stuff and some of the structural stuff. And so I immediately went out and hired the wrong people. And so then I learned how to hire the wrong people, and then I learned how to hire the right people. And then when it really took off is when I went out and I made 7 offers in one weekend, and I was hoping that I would get one. And then if I got 2, I'd figure out how to do 2 at one time. And I got 5 offers accepted, and I freaked out. But I didn't back out of any of the deals because I didn't want to ruin my relationship with the real estate agents. And so, man, I just had to figure it out. And so I'm not sure if I slept much that year, but I was able to figure out how to rehab 4 or 5 houses at a time, and never looked back.
Wow. Any key pioneering turnkey options that you've learned or implemented as a turnkey model that you've are particularly excited about?
Matthew, what do you think?
Well, we are a truly turnkey option. So,
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I think sets us apart from a lot of other players in the industry is that we have a lot of great vertical integration now. Terry operates here out of a very large, I think it's 45,000 square foot warehouse here, which just allows us to kind of have our private Home Depot here, which allows us to service the management company well, to service the rehabs well. And it's great for our investors because we're the same outfit renovating and the same outfit who's maintaining your home. So if you have a part that needs to be replaced down the road, well, we have it in stock here in the warehouse here. And so that means we have it available, and that means we can get to our residents with speed and deliver a high level of service to them. Of course, like Terry said, it's been little by little. We didn't always have that in the early days, but I believe we've been operating with the warehouse now for about 10 years, and it's
Right.
been a real game changer for us.
Wow. And tell me the states that you're operating out of. It's Texas, Arkansas,
Um, uh,
Tennessee.
Tennessee and Little Rock, Tennessee and Arkansas, are where we are right now. Memphis and Little Rock. We just
Mm-hmm.
stuck our toe in Dallas, so we are in Texas. But right now we are just kind of amassing a bit of a personal portfolio right now. So we're testing
Mm-hmm.
out Texas on our own dime, if you will.
Sure.
But all signs are pointing to yes. So hopefully in 2026, some of your listeners will be able to see some stuff from us for Texas. But like I say, we're our own guinea pig right now.
Are
Right.
you
And
located in
DFW.
McKinney, Nate?
Yeah, I'm just north of McKinney, out in the country. There's there's definitely a solid rental market. Um, there's a lot new homes going up left and right too. I'm thinking of the bedroom communities in and outside of, I don't know, within 45 minutes of downtown Dallas. There are a number of communities that have rental. Um, I guess those towns and cities that just have a larger rental population. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity in the DFW area for investors. from the heart of downtown to, I don't know, maybe 60, 80-mile radius in every direction. There is a property available or a place that needs to be owned. Um, well, good for y'all. That's with DFW. I think there's going to be a massive growth for y'all for sure. I just can't imagine it not. I mean, it's a dynamite market. Um,
It the locals
whatever.
there, I think they talk about not if, but when Dallas is going to go all the way north, basically to Oklahoma, there to the state
It
line.
is that is true. There's Highway 75, and then there's Preston, and both of those are, one's a toll, and it's expanding north up to the river, and then there's Highway 75, which they're building out to be an interstate, which goes all the way into Oklahoma, and they can't do the work fast enough, but the everything growth wise is following. For DFW, regardless, whatever is happening nationally, good or bad, for housing, for real estate, Texas is its own powerhouse. And then if you look at major markets like DFW and DFW North specifically, um, it is the billion-trillion-dollar mile miracle, and all the way is just, there's growth, there's industry, there's new, everything is new. So even the older towns, they've preserved the downtowns and refurbished those, and then beyond that, they just the infrastructure. I think like Salina, Texas, which as a kid was, I don't know, populate. They used to have a 6-man football team. Well, now every square, every lot of their entire city limits is to be developed. It's to be developed, and but they've got all the infrastructure for high speed internet and the works, and so they can handle the improvements, whereas some locations don't necessarily have the infrastructure yet. And so anyway, that's true of most of North Texas. So yeah, lots of really cool opportunities coming up here. uh yeah, so your investors, if they're moving in on this area, looking at acquiring properties, y'all are gonna y'all gonna be very busy.
For
So
sure. One thing I like about DFW is that you can see them putting the property tax dollars to work there, new roads going in everywhere. The only thing that's a little tough for some of our investors is those property taxes in Texas are a little high compared to some other places, which is why we really like our cash flow products in Little Rock and Memphis. Little Rock, I was looking at an estimate that says that the cost of living there is 16% below the national average. I
mm-hmm.
saw a report that just came out from Smart Asset that actually says that Memphis, Tennessee ranks #1 as the most affordable city for a family of 4. And so they did basically a report. If you have 2 income earners with 2 children, they actually ranked Memphis, Tennessee as the #1 most affordable city in America in that regard, because of the
Wow.
affordability, because the ratio of good jobs, according to the compared with the cost of living here. So it's great for our renters. They can enjoy a high quality of life and have affordability, and it's great for our investors because they can enjoy cash flow that's truly sustainable for their investments in the long run.
Oh, that's awesome. So tell me, we mentioned a little bit about Turnkey. What does Turnkey look like for your investors?
Sure.
If I'm
So,
coming to you to buy, yes, sir.
yeah, so a turnkey product for our investors looks like, and we have a short wait list. So we've been doing this for a long time, and there is, a couple of month wait for someone who decides that they want to buy from us before they actually start seeing properties that are available to purchase. But they can go to our website at midsouthhomebuyers.com and click on available properties and see all the stuff that's currently under contract to purchase, which will give them an idea of what they will end up seeing in a couple of months when they get to the top of the list, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But what that looks like is they start to see properties. They decide which property they want to purchase. They let us know what that is. And then we introduce them to a mortgage broker. As a matter of fact, a couple of 3 weeks before they get to the top of the list, we introduce them to mortgage brokers if they don't have them. And we'd love to be able to talk to you, obviously, about being one of those mortgage brokers. So from a turnkey standpoint, it's not just that we serve them up with a completely renovated home where we also manage the home, make the repairs, and just send them a check every month, but it's also that we're going to introduce them to the mortgage brokers with the best rates, the lowest fees, and the best customer service, and hook them up with the closing attorneys that have, the best customer service, the lowest fees, really at every single touch point, homeowners insurance, you name it. We line that up systematically to make it just a breeze from beginning to end.
Wow. Do you see new construction becoming a bigger part of your turnkey portfolio, or are
We
you looking
do.
for? Okay.
Yeah, we do, and it is. So last year, I mentioned we did 680 houses, and I'm going to say about 150 of those were new construction. And we're going to continue to buy and renovate every home that becomes available in the markets where we work, where the numbers make sense. But we're constrained on how many of those properties we can find that make sense. So while we'll continue to do those rehabs, we'll be able to supplement the need and the demand from our repeat buyers by supplementing with the new construction product.
Nice. I'm gonna assume that maybe there's a new investor or a not so sophisticated investor that's listening, and they may not know what a DSCR loan is. It's the debt service coverage ratio loan. The best way I know how to explain it is you take your projected rent, divide that by the loan amount, and as long as that number is one or greater, the lender will write that loan. That's the fundamental truth of that loan. But what are you seeing on the ground with your investors with the DSCR?
Oh, they love the DSCR product, and what we're selling definitely matches that description. Our new construction houses are very popular with the DSCR. The interest rates are favorable. We have got an interest rate buy down program here in the house that they're able to get 5.85 by doing their own buy down, and with our contribution, we're getting that to 5.25.
Oh, excellent. And that's fantastic. Do you deal with I guess all the way up to four door like triplexes and quads and duplexes, or you have a preference there?
We focus on single family with some duplexes.
Hmm.
Quads are not really popular. They're not a bunch of quads around in Memphis and Little Rock, like I know there are other major cities. But in Memphis, we're focused on single family and on duplexes. And there really aren't even a whole heck of a lot of duplexes
Yeah.
out there. Like, maybe 5% duplexes, but the majority single family.
Okay, good. That's it's interesting. Reason I asked, I just closed two loans back to back for veteran active duty soldiers. And they both did new construction duplexes. And I was like, it was a I don't get to do those very often for VA loans anyway, but a VA construction loan, everybody usually passes on that. But I did it, and I did them back to back, and I thought they were great loans. And I've got another investor that he does those one a year, roughly a little bit more than a year, but he does one build anyway. I was just curious. So tell me, let's see. Uh, what do you have like target minimums for investors, their gains, the return on their investment? Are you looking there? Is that something that y'all are concerned on, or are the investors coming to you and you say, "Hey, I want to get an investment property. This is what I want it to be," as far as the ROI goes?
Yeah, the beautiful thing is our website at midsouthhomebuyers.com. It's designed to be very educational. And so our investors or anyone can go on our website and they can read the information that we have. And we also have calculators there on the site, where investors are coached on how to do their own due diligence, and they're also able to use the calculators there on the site to project their returns in terms of ROI, whether that be leveraged ROI, whether that be the IRR based on a cash purchase, whether they are just however they choose to buy it, whether they're putting 20% down, 25% down. We have investors with different strategies as far as that goes. And so a lot of information there. And Nate, I'm curious, what loan products are you seeing that investors are finding useful in today's market?
So right now, as probably in the last 6 months, I'd say the DSCR took off as being the number one program, because they can get into the property based on the property, not necessarily their own personal finances and debt to income ratios and all that. I'll caveat that some investors like to see, or some lenders like to see, some past performance. But those I've seen quite a bit of pretty broad expectation on what that past performance looks like, whether they've got current management skill sets or if they've got a portfolio of real estate, right? So I've seen different requirements. I've got several investors in house, and they all have different minimum standards, right? So DSCR definitely, for the ones that can stomach putting down or want to put down a larger amount. The conventional route for an investment property. I've seen that for secondary or for an investment property. Those are my one and two. A third VA. When a veteran figures out or learns, or active duty soldier learns that they can actually buy a multifamily as their primary, if they're going to live in behind one of the doors, they can buy up to 4 doors. Those are wonderful because it's a different set of rules, but you're able to include that projected income on a VA loan. And the really nice thing with what y'all are doing is, for a brand new investor or a veteran or active duty that's looking to invest, the lender or the VA is going to require a management company to take care of the rents. And for turnkey, if you're overseas coming back to the States, I'm like, this would be a super easy way to work through y'all to have the entire from finding a home all the way through to rents taken care of, and not have to have that extra burden of trying to find the right property and all the other things that go along with it. So yeah, those are the 3 loans that I write the most. Every one of them, every investor I've talked to, they got their own specific or their sweet spot or what they're looking for. I think about my folks down in Florida on 38, their investment properties. They're looking for stuff that they can do, Airbnbs. It's totally different.
Yeah.
Those are $1 million properties, and so that's a unique deal also. So what are y'all seeing? You do a bit of these DSCRs, but what else are y'all seeing?
Mostly DSCRs. We're also seeing a lot of folks who are wanting to do 1031s these days. So we do a heck of a lot of 1031s with folks. And then also real quick, just to kind of piggyback on what you were saying about, some folks that are, buying, like say a duplex or a quad and living in one side of it. Man, what a great strategy that is. And I think some of your listeners might appreciate the tack that Matthew has taken in getting started when he was getting started in his rental portfolio, of taking advantage of the low Fannie and Freddie interest rates and all. But Matthew, you want to share how you got started in your investment journey?
Oh, sure. Yes. The first smart thing I did, and I didn't know it was smart at the time, was taking a job with Terry Kerr here at Mid-South Home Buyers. So got to learn the ropes of real estate here. And some advice that he gave me early on was the best way he knew to build wealth quickly was to buy a property and move into that property and live there
Yeah.
for a year and then move out of that property and hold on to it and rent it out and just keep rinsing and repeating. And so I
Yeah.
did that 4 times until it drove my wife crazy. But I was able to pull it off 4 times, moving to a new home, being able to just put man, that first one I think I got at 3.5% down with an
Mm-hmm.
FHA loan. But
Yep.
then subsequently, I was only had to put 5% down to get into those homes, which is a heck of a lot easier than 20% down, especially especially back then, because when you're just first getting started, man, that first one is by far the hardest one to do. And so,
Yeah.
man, saving every penny until you can do that,
Would
and then
you
it compounds.
would you qualify that first home as a starter home, or
So for me, first of all, I'm lucky to live in Memphis, Tennessee, where properties, man, the numbers just make sense from like a
yeah?
cash flow perspective. So what I moved into, even though it was the most that I could afford, man, it turned out to be a perfect rental property. Um,
Right.
and many of the neighborhoods are here. So that in that way, I'm lucky to be in this market. But so the first one I didn't necessarily do on purpose, but then afterward, the second, the third home, I really tried to make sure that I moved into a home that would make a great rental on the other
Uh-huh.
side of that. And it's kind of cool because my wife and I, we were able to move into a kind of a smaller 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom home before we had children, and it's a little bit of a small home, but it got us into a nice neighborhood, and it's a nice kind of small rental, which we love small rentals here at Mid South because as you know, investor costs, the biggest thing is turnover a lot of times. And
Right.
so on a smaller home, those turn costs are smaller. The price of entry for a renter is lower. And so the turnover times are shorter. And so these smaller homes make great rentals. We only needed to live there for a year and a half, and then we were on to the next. So it worked with our lifestyle. And now it's a great cash flowing rental property.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the cool
absolutely. And
thing,
so,
like what Matthew was saying, I'm sorry, Nate, is that
are
not
you good?
only did he just have to only have to put down 3% or 5% instead of 20, he also got a better interest rate because
Yeah.
it's an owner occupied interest rate. So, to your listeners out there that are just getting started and don't mind moving every year or two, man, what a great strategy to be able to get in for maybe not no money down, but about as cheap as you can get into it for. And then by the time Matthew got to the point to where he was like on number 4, some time had passed and appreciation had happened, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden he found that he had equity in these
Yep.
properties, right? And then you can start to leverage some of that equity with home equity lines of credit.
That's right.
So anyway, I know that we're a rental company, turnkey outfit, and of course we want to work with your listeners. But like Matthew was mentioned earlier, our website is dedicated to educating folks on how to get rolling in this business and how to do turnkey or rental in any market. So we hope that they go to our website and check out the 19 fatal investor mistakes and just kind of learn from a lot of the mistakes that we made when we were getting started in the business, and then also a lot of the mistakes that we have heard from our investors that are recurring themes, and try to learn from our skint knees and other investors' skint knees there.
Oh wow. I'm curious, Matt, how far along have you purchased your dream home yet? Or are we still moving?
I mean, I'm in a good spot now, and listen, I I understand that I was lucky, to get started back in 2015, back before inflation did its thing that it did,
Yeah.
in COVID times. But real estate on a 10-year timeline is pretty much undefeated, so that's why,
Yeah.
regardless of the market, man, get started today, and your 10 years from now self will thank you.
Yeah. over the however long they've been, almost probably over 100 years now, they've been tracking real estate um, markets. There's only been 7 downturns, and every year after that seven, or in every following year, it's recovered. And so and more than recovered. So it's like, when's the best time to buy a house? Now. It's always now. Tell me, in the last, so in the 20, almost 25 years now, I'd like to hear like a memorable uh story with one of y'all's investors, um maybe a rags to riches experience, or that they came to y'all, they had one or no properties. I'm curious, and now they now they own, now they're real estate moguls.
So Matthew, before he was our sales director, he started off as our leasing agent, and then he became our property manager for many, many years. So Matthew has worked directly with our investors more than I have. So I'll leave that one to him. But there are a lot of them, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think one really cool one that comes to mind right away is Robert Helm's son.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because he had this goal of getting his first investment property by the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
And so, man,
Wow.
he came out here, did his due diligence, came to one of our investor tours here. We do monthly tours here where we show the warehouse, we showcase the team that makes it happen here. We show the properties in various stages of the rehab, and like we said, we just really try to educate our potential investors as much as we can. And man, he just dug in and just soaked up all of the learning here. And happy to say he got his first home. I think it's either the day before or a couple of days before turning 19. And so it was
Wow.
just a really cool thing that he
Yeah.
was able to do that.
And so, yeah, he was a disciplined young man, and been saving money for a long time, and just pulled the trigger and made it happen. But he was the youngest investor that we'd ever sold to, and his father, Robert Helms, who is the founder of the Real Estate Guys radio show, was yeah, he bought from us, and that was a heck of a win.
Wow. Well, you touched on that. 19. The youngest I've ever helped was 24, and I was real proud of that. But
Uh-huh.
19, can you
Yeah.
imagine what his future is going to look like financial if he just, he sticks to it?
Dude, it's
Goodness.
gonna be crazy. And he was disciplined. He saved money, and
Yeah.
and that's one thing that I'll say about Matthew. He said, he's lucky, and boy, I don't discount it. I know he was lucky. We've been very lucky here at Mid South. But you put in the hard work and you stay disciplined, and you keep your eyes open, and the chances of getting lucky, it happens more often. And so yeah, I mean, I know that Nate, that that discipline's a big part of the deal, in
Yeah.
saving money and protecting your credit and your debt to income ratio and all that kind of good thing. But that is a recurring theme that we see with our investors, is the ability to be disciplined and be savers.
Wow. And I was going to ask you, you touched on it with that story. You don't have to live in the same state to be an investor. If you want to live wherever you live, if you want to invest in Memphis or DFW, y'all can facilitate that. And man, that's awesome. Um, well, we're about to run out of time. I'll try to keep these things to drive time in the DFW market, right? So about 30-minute drive time. Um, Tell me, what are the best ways for someone that wants to reach out to y'all, get started with y'all on a turnkey solution for investment properties? How can they reach you guys?
Sure. So we'd love for you to visit our website at midsouthhomebuyers.com. You can reach out to us via email. That's invest@midsouthhomebuyers.com. You can give us a call at 901 306-9009, or you can come on one of our monthly investor tours. We have one coming up on November 13th and November 14th. So November 13th, we're touring Little Rock, and November 14th, we're touring Memphis. You can come to one city or you can come to both. Would love to have you there. If it doesn't work out for November, you can go onto our website and see a list of upcoming tour dates. I'm not sure if we put out the 2026 dates just yet, but those will be coming soon.
Okay. And then one thing I'll say, Nate, is I'm going to say that only 95 only about 5% of our investor buyer friends do we ever get to meet. We want to meet everyone, but we understand, folks are busy and they don't have time to visit. So 95% of the folks that we work with, we don't ever get a chance to meet them in person. And we would love to meet some of your listeners in person, to the tune that if they end up working with us, if they'll come visit with us, we'll contribute $500 towards their closing costs, because we know, that when folks get a chance to visit and meet, there's a lot of benefit there. So we incentivize folks, if they would, to, take some time, come learn a little bit. And if you decide to even invest in your own market, we really believe that we'll be able to, present some good educational stuff for your folks that want to invest in any market.
Well, that's awesome. So if you're looking to invest and need a turnkey solution because you're successful and I just think of how busy I am. I don't have time to swing a hammer, I don't. Otherwise, if I'm doing it, I'm not working. So y'all provide that opportunity in Little Rock, Arkansas, Memphis, Tennessee, DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. Investors, if you're looking for a solution to help build your portfolio, reach out to Matthew at midsouthhomebuyers.com. I'll put the links down below. Last question: is there anything I should have asked y'all that I didn't?
You did a great job, Nate. It's definitely been good having the conversation with you, for sure. The only thing that I will just add, having spent 13 years on the property management side, is that, man, it's our renters that drive the returns. And we're here as a management team to provide the highest quality of life that we can to our renters. The service that we provide, I think, is really where the rubber meets the road here, because the fast service and the true respect and value that we give to our renters, that leads to their satisfaction, and their satisfaction leads to them staying with us for an average of a 4-year resident stay, which is really crucial to our investors' returns, besides us just loving to do the right thing for our renters. And so if you're looking for a turnkey investment elsewhere, make sure you ask plenty of questions about the management team, because I feel that the management is maybe the most important thing, aside from simply your own goals as an investor. A great operator can help an average investment turn into a great investment. A bad operator can turn even a great investment into a bad one. And so management really is where the rubber meets the road.
Absolutely. And on the website, there's a due diligence section that lists a bunch of questions that folks should be asking of their property managers or turnkey providers that will help them do their own due diligence and underwrite the deal.
Wow. All right, there you have it, folks. midsouthhomebuyers.com. I'm Nate Carver, your favorite mortgage guy, on this episode of Between Two Doors. That's a wrap. Thanks, guys.